Welcome back to the garage. This is Token Teardown, the show where we jack crypto projects up on the lift, crawl underneath with a flashlight, and find out what's actually going on under the hood. No spin, no soft touch, no community armor. Today on the lift, Aztec, ticker AZTEZ. Now this one's been making noise. A lot of noise. You've probably seen it on X. Maybe you saw the Korea pump. Maybe your buddy at the gym won't shut up about it. We'll get to him in a second. The buzz was loud enough that the garage decided, let's see what all the noise is about. Put it on the lift. Let XXX do what he does. And XXX went deep on this one. White papers, GitHub repos. He pulled the nightly build timestamps, read the audit reports from 6 different firms, dug through the governance proposals, tracked down the co-founder departure that half the internet still has wrong, verified exchange listings, cross-checked tokenomics against on-chain data. When he finally brought it over, he didn't say much. He just handed me the keys and said, "This thing is 9 days old, and they're already calling it a finished car." The vehicle XXX handed me was a stealth reconnaissance SUV, matte black, bulletproof tinted glass, military-grade encrypted comms. You can see out, but nobody can see in. Now, this is not a daily driver. It's not for running errands. It's not built for speed. It is built to move through hostile territory, carrying information that nobody else is supposed to see, while still following every traffic law on the books. It's specialized. It's expensive. And most people have no idea why they'd ever need one, until they realize their entire financial life is being broadcast on a public highway, and they can't turn it off. That's Aztec. Privacy infrastructure for Ethereum. Not a meme, not a fork, not another L2 trying to be cheap and fast. Something genuinely different. Before we drop this on the lift, yes, we will get to price predictions. But before we tell you what this thing might be worth, we need to figure out if it's even worth parking in your portfolio. Smash the like, hit the follow, and share this with your gym bro. You know the one. Every time you're doing curls, he's talking about Pepe this, Pepe that. You're starting to think this guy actually knows the frog personally, like they go to brunch, like they have matching tattoos. Share this with him. He needs to hear what real infrastructure looks like. All right, lift it, lock it, lights on, let's tear it down. Before we touch the tech, we always start with the same question. Who made it? Because in this garage, we don't trust the badge. We trust the people turning the wrenches. Aztec was founded in 2017 by Zach Williamson and Tom Walton Pocock. Now here's the first thing XXX caught that half the internet still has wrong. Tom left, March 2021. His own LinkedIn says, "After a wonderful 3.5 years, I left Aztec." That's not a rug, that's a planned transition. But if you're reading a report that still lists Tom as active co-founder, that report is running on stale data. And if they miss that, what else did they miss? So who's driving now? Zach Williamson, sole CEO, PhD in particle physics from Oxford. And here's where it gets serious. Zach didn't just build Aztec, he co-invented the PLONK proving system. PLONK is now the industry standard for zero-knowledge proofs. Other protocols use his math. That's not marketing. That's a cryptographer who literally wrote the textbook and then built the company on top of it. Status, doxed, and active. LinkedIn verified. Speaking at ETH Denver 2026. On the House of ZK podcast February 4th. And XXX checked the GitHub. Nightly builds committed the same day as this analysis. This man is writing code, not just tweeting about it. The company, Aztec Foundation, registered in Zug, Switzerland. Aztec Labs, remote development entity, multi-jurisdiction setup, funding, and this is heavy. 2.1 million seed in 2018, 17 million Series A in December 2021, led by Paradigm. Then the big one, $100 million Series B in December 2022, led by A16Z Crypto, with Vitalik Buterin as an individual backer. That raise happened in the bear market. When everyone else was laying off and shutting down, Aztec raised $100 million. Then, December 2025, the public token sale. 19,476 ETH raised, roughly 61 million, from over 16,700 verified participants through a continuous clearing auction on Uniswap v4. That's not a backroom deal. That's a public sale with KYC verification using zero-knowledge passport proofs. They use their own tech to run their own sale. Security posture. Audits from 6 firms: Cantina, Veritas, Spearbit, ZK Security, Cyberscope, and a formal verification team. The Aztec Connect vulnerability in 2025, White Hat found it. Team paid $450,000 bug bounty, published a full post-mortem. That's how you handle a scar. You show it, you explain it, and you pay the person who found it. Plus factor, and this is the honest flag. Elevated. Zach is Aztec's cryptographic North Star. Team is 51 to 200 employees with a foundation structure. The PLONK knowledge lives in his head first. If Zach walks, the engine block cracks. Pit crew takeaway, world-class cryptographer founder who literally invented the standard. Their market funded by the best names in crypto. Clean security posture. Active builder. But single CEO dependency is the one crack you can't ignore. This is where Aztec stops being another L2 and starts being something nobody else has shipped. Aztec is a layer 2 ZK rollup on Ethereum. Not EVM compatible, not a sidechain, not a layer 1. It settles on Ethereum, but it runs its own execution environment. Now, why does that matter? Because right now, Ethereum is a glass house. Every wallet balance, every DeFi trade, every contract interaction, visible to anyone with a block explorer, permanently, forever. That was fine for early crypto. It's catastrophic for institutions, for funds, for anyone who doesn't want their entire financial life as a public spreadsheet. And nobody has solved it, because building programmable privacy on-chain requires bleeding-edge ZK cryptography that almost no team on Earth can execute. Tornado Cash tried mixing, got sanctioned because it had no compliance pathway. Arbitrum and Optimism use ZK for compression, not encryption. They're fast and cheap, but they're still glass houses. Aztec built the only production-grade layer 2 with programmable privacy using zero-knowledge proofs, and they did it with a dual execution architecture that no other chain runs. First, the private execution environment, PXE. This runs on your device, your laptop, your phone. It simulates private transactions locally, generates ZK proofs, and sends only the compressed proof to the network. Your balances, your logic, your identity never leaves your device. The sequencer sees the proof, not the data. Second, the Aztec Virtual Machine, AVM, handles public functions on-chain when visibility is needed. And here's the key. Private functions can trigger public functions, but public functions cannot read private state. You choose what to reveal, not the network. The state model uses encrypted UTXOs for private data, like Zcash, but programmable, and public Merkle trees for transparent state. You hold encrypted notes. Your PXE decrypts and spends them. The proving system, PLONK, co-invented by Zach Williamson, universal ZK snark, industry standard, used by protocols beyond Aztec. The custom language, Noir, Rust-inspired, proving backend agnostic. This isn't Solidity ported over. This is purpose-built for ZK, which means developers have to learn a new language. That's a barrier, but it's also a moat. What it does not do, and this matters: not EVM compatible, no Solidity portability, not trying to be the fastest L2. Privacy computation is expensive. You sacrifice raw TPS for programmable invisibility. Testnet, RAM May 2025. Prover nodes intentionally throttled to 0.2 TPS for cost realism. Not trying to fake benchmarks. Ignition Chain went live November 2025. 75,000 plus blocks, 185 operators, 3,400 sequencers, zero downtime. But here's what matters most. Ignition runs consensus only. The execution environment, the alpha network, where users actually do things, is not live yet. The car is in the garage, the engine runs, but it hasn't done a lap yet with real drivers and real cargo. Short answer, not yet. And that's the honest truth. Who uses Aztec today? Node operators, 185 running sequencers, early builders working on wallets, payments, identity, social dApps on testnet and devnet, but no named production apps on mainnet, zero. Daily active users, not found. New mainnet execution environment, not live. Daily transaction count, not found in primary sources. On-chain revenue, not found on Token Terminal or DeFi Llama. Early stage. TVL, about 7.36 million. Early stage. TGE was 9 days ago. The execution environment isn't live yet. This engine is idling, not racing. Now, the user quality check. Usage right now is subsidized by emissions and testnet incentives. No post-incentive period has been tested. Would developers still build here without grants? Unknown. Would usage persist without rewards? Unknown. That is the most critical, unresolved question. But here's what is real. The token sale used ZK Passport for KYC verification. 16,700 verified participants went through a ZK proof identity check to buy the token. That's Aztec using its own tech for its own launch. Receipts, not roadmap. Partners, confirmed integrations include ZK Passport for identity, Predicate, plus SumSub, plus TRM Labs for sanctions screening, Uniswap v4 for the CCA auction mechanism, cross-chain development reported with Wormhole, Train, and Substance Labs for bridges to Optimism, Arbitrum, and Base. But none of those are live on mainnet with verifiable usage. All forward-looking. Liquidity. And this is where it gets interesting. Listed on Coinbase, Kraken, Bybit, KuCoin since February 12th. Then Upbit and Bithum added KRW pairs on February 20th. And the price surged 82% in 24 hours. Classic kimchi premium. Direct Korean won access to retail, bypasses stablecoin conversion friction, creates concentrated buying pressure. Volume spiked to over 450 million a day. But 450 million daily volume on 100 million market cap? That's a 4-to-1 ratio. That's not organic. That's FOMO trading. And when FOMO fades, the volume fades with it. 10.35 billion Aztec created at Genesis. Circulating supply about 2.9 billion. That's roughly 28% of total supply. The rest, locked, vesting, waiting. Here's where it gets real. Token sale got about 22%, unlocked at TGE. That's what's trading now. Investors and early backers, 27.26%, locked. 12-month cliff, February 2027. Then linear vesting through February 2029. Core team, 21.06%. Same lock. 12-month cliff, February 2027. Then linear through 2029. Add those two together. Team plus investors equals 48.32% of total supply. 5 billion tokens, all starting to unlock February 2027. Even spread over 24 months, that's massive sell-side pressure. Aztec Foundation holds 11.7%. Ecosystem grants, 10.7%. Future incentives about 5%. Year 1 network rewards 2.4%, already distributing to sequencers and provers. Now the inflation question. At Genesis, 10.35 billion is the cap. But after November 12, 2026, governance can authorize up to 20% annual supply increase. That's not a hard cap. That's a cap with a governance key. And whoever controls the governance controls the inflation switch. Burns. Here's the problem. No burn mechanism identified in primary sources. Fees go to sequencers and provers as block rewards. 70-30 split. They don't get destroyed. They circulate. No EIP 1559 style burn. No deflationary pressure from usage. The MANA system is clever UX. Lets users pay gas in stablecoins or wrapped ETH. Protocol auto-converts to Aztec in the back end. That creates structural demand without forcing users to hold the token. Smart design. But without a burn, all that fee revenue just moves tokens around. It doesn't remove them. Token utility required, not optional, not cosmetic. Can't validate blocks without it. Can't govern without it. Can't pay fees without it. Minimum 200,000 Aztec to run a sequencer node. That's real demand architecture. But the value accrual equation is simple. More usage equals more staking demand equals buy pressure. But up to 20% inflation continues regardless. And no burn means supply only goes up. Value accrues if, and only if, staking demand exceeds the emission rate. The fuel system has a working engine, but there's no exhaust pipe burning off excess. And there's a key under the dashboard that can add 20% more fuel every year, whether the truck needs it or not. Who drives this truck? Because owning the token and steering the project are two very different things. Upgrades are controlled by staked sequencers. Minimum 200,000 Aztec to participate. That's a whale gate. Not everyone gets a seat. Delegators can participate at lower amounts, but the real power sits with large stakers. Now the positive. Year 1 insider exclusion. Team and investors cannot stake or vote until February 2027. That's 12 months where the circulating community controls governance. That's rare, that's credible, and it's verifiable on-chain. But after February 2027, those locks come off. And after November 2026, governance gains the power to adjust supply by up to 20% annually. Who holds that key matters. If governance stays distributed, it's a feature. If whales capture it, it's a weapon. Emergency powers not disclosed in public sources. Kill switches, unknown. Governance participation rate, unknown for ongoing proposals, but 4,500 sequencers participated in the January TGE vote. That's a strong signal for a pre-token governance event. Regulatory, actually, one of Aztec's stronger cards. Swiss Foundation, Mika white paper published. ZK passport integration for KYC. Token regulatory report published. UK residents restricted from sale communications. This is a team that's leaning into compliance, not running from it. Now here's the insight most people miss. California's Digital Financial Assets Law takes full effect July 1st, 2026. Requires AML, KYC, capital reserves, reporting. Fine of $100,000 a day for non-compliance. Here's the paradox for public chains. How does a transparent blockchain maintain required compliance records without broadcasting user financial data publicly? It can't. That's an existential technical problem for standard L2s. Aztec solution, opt-in auditability through viewing keys. Users generate time-locked keys that grant read-only access to specific transaction histories for regulators or auditors without broadcasting to the public. ZK Passport verifies compliance before the transaction. Aztec isn't a darknet evasion tool. It's the only compliant programmable privacy infrastructure. And DFAL could be a massive catalyst pushing enterprise adoption specifically to Aztec. That's the counterintuitive upside most analyses miss. Worst case, US security classification, exchange delistings possible. Privacy protocols historically draw enforcement attention. The protocol functions without US users, but price impact would be severe. Competition. Zcash does shielded transfers, but no smart contracts. Monero is a privacy coin, but no smart contracts. Namada is a privacy L1, but it's pre-production. Standard L2s don't do privacy at all. Nobody else has shipped what Aztec has shipped. The moat is 8+ years of ZK R&D. PLONK co-invention. Custom VM. First mover as a decentralized privacy L2. Can big tech clone it in 24 months? Technically possible. Practically, 8 years of institutional cryptographic knowledge doesn't transfer in a quarter. But a well-funded L2 could replicate the core features given time and talent. Real moat. Noir becoming the universal ZK language, developer ecosystem, deployed contracts, network effects, not GitHub repos. Now, before we hand this to Lulu, we need to check for cracks. 80% drawdown? Hasn't happened yet because the token is 9 days old. But staking APR runs about 16% in token terms. If price drops 80%, operators running pre-hype may stay. But security cost drops in dollar terms, cheaper to acquire attack influence. Validator consolidation toward larger staking providers becomes likely. Volume collapse? Right now, volume is 4 times the market cap. That's not normal. That's Korea listing FOMO. When that normalizes, and it will, the question is what steady state volume looks like. If it settles at 10 to 20 million a day on 100 million cap, manageable. If it drops to 1 million, exits get ugly. Incentives removed, untested. TGE was 9 days ago. No post-incentive organic demand period exists. Would developers still build without grants? Would users show up without rewards? This is the single most critical unanswered question. 18-month bear market. Treasury runway? Unknown. That's the critical data gap. If alpha network is delayed, narrative decays. Partners stay if committed to the tech thesis. Exit if holding speculative positions. Narrative risk, privacy hype spikes fast. But adoption is slower because UX and compliance are hard. Without killer dApps, privacy is back becomes privacy was trending on the 6 to 12 month timescale. All right, we are here. Everyone's favorite part. Show me the moo law. Every number you've been hearing today came from the head of technical analysis in this garage, Lulu. She walked up to this stealth SUV, tried to open the door, couldn't figure out the encrypted biometric lock, headbutted the bumper, then sat down with her clipboard and said, "I can't get in this thing, but I can still count." Here's the starting line. All prices and market data as of February 20th, 2026. Total crypto market, about 2.33 trillion. Aztec trading around 3 cents. Circulating market cap, about 100 million. Circulating supply, 2.9 billion. Total supply, 10.35 billion. Only 28% is out there right now. Current market share, 0.005%. Now, the key difference on this one. Only 28% of supply is circulating. And there's a massive unlock cliff in February 2027, when 48% of total supply starts vesting. Plus, governance can add 20% inflation after November 2026. So Lulu runs every scenario with supply growth factored in. Let's run it to 20 trillion. Cruise control. Market grows. Aztec holds its lane. Same share. Market cap hits about 1 billion. Circulating supply stays around 2.9 billion if no major unlocks yet. Price, about 34 cents. Roughly 10 times from here. Not bad for just keeping up. But by the time you get there, the February 2027 cliff is hitting. Supply pressure compresses the upside. Traction. Alpha network launches. First real private DeFi app deploys. TVL crosses 100 million. DeFi drives institutional interest. Aztec gains 2 to 3 times its current share. Market cap 2 to 3 billion. Price 69 cents to $1.03. Factoring in supply growth to about 3.2 billion circulating. 20 to 30 times from here. That's real money for a 3-cent token. Full moo. Aztec becomes the default privacy layer 2. Enterprise adoption driven by default and MiCA compliance requirements. Major DeFi protocols deploy private versions on Aztec. 5 to 10 times current share. Market cap 5 to 10 billion. Price 172 to 345, with supply growth to 3.5 billion. 50 to 100 times from here. Low probability, but if private DeFi becomes a category, Aztec is the only production-grade rail. Black Swan. Alpha Network delayed past Q2 2026. No organic demand after emissions end. Bear market hits. February 2027, Cliff dumps 5 billion tokens into a market that can't absorb them. Governance votes maximum inflation. Price drifts below a penny. Market grew 10 times. Aztec's market share collapsed. The stealth SUV sat in the lot. Tinted windows up. Nobody inside. Nobody coming. Lulu closes the clipboard and says, "The encryption is real. The math is beautiful." But the car hasn't done a single lap with real passengers. If the Alpha Network ships and people show up, this thing is built for a world that's coming. If they don't show up, it's the most advanced vehicle nobody ever drove. Red flags. No mercy. 1. The execution environment is not live. Ignition runs consensus only. No private dApps. No user transactions. The Alpha Network is the dyno test that proves everything, and it hasn't happened yet. 2. February 2027 unlock cliff. Team plus investors equals 48.32% of total supplies starting to vest. Even linear over 24 months, that's 200 million tokens per month hitting the market. 3. No burn mechanism. Fees circulate to validators. They don't get destroyed. Without a burn, value accrual is structurally weaker than fee-burning L2s. 4. Treasury transparency gap. No public wallet. No burn rate. No runway disclosure. For a team with 170 million raised, this opacity blocks institutional allocation. 5. Governance inflation switch. After November 2026, governance can add 20% supply annually. Right tool in right hands, weapon in wrong hands. 6. Not EVM compatible. Developers have to learn Noir. Real switching cost. Real adoption friction. Now, the honest positives, because this is not a hit piece. The technology is genuinely best in class. PLONK co-invention. PXE and AVM dual execution. No other L2 does this. 75,000 blocks with zero downtime. Decentralized from day one, with 185 operators across 5 continents. The team shipped through 2 bear markets without a token. That's 8 years of building before asking for a penny from the public. The 100 million Series B in December 2022 tells you Paradigm and A16Z believed when nobody else was writing checks. 16,700 verified participants in the token sale using the team's own privacy tech for KYC. That's receipts. The DFAL regulatory catalyst is real. If privacy compliance becomes a requirement, Aztec is the only infrastructure that solves it without broadcasting user data. Now, before you go remortgage your house over a 3-cent token, none of this is financial advice, not investment advice, not trading advice. This is education, analysis, and one very opinionated garage. And just in case you're new here, all those numbers today, they came from Lulu, head of technical analysis. She is incredible at what she does, but Lulu is a pig, a real one. 4 hooves, a tail, a snout, the whole thing. She walked up to that stealth SUV, tried to get in, couldn't crack the biometric lock, headbutted the door panel, left a snout print on the tinted glass, then sat down on the curb and ran every scenario from memory. The encryption was too good, even for pigs. So if you're out here taking financial advice from a pig who couldn't even get into the car she was analyzing, that one's on you. Now let's score it. Technology 9.0. Best-in-class privacy ZK stack. PLONK co-invention. PXE and AVM architecture. 75,000 blocks, zero downtime. Complexity is the only ceiling. Team 8.0. Zach Williamson is a cryptographer founder, actively shipping nightly builds. Solo CEO bus factor is the only real crack in this engine block. Tokenomics 6.0. Capped supply at Genesis is positive. Real utility is positive. But 20% governance-controlled inflation, no burn mechanism, and the February 2027 cliff are three landmines in the fuel system. Treasury 4.0. No public wallet, no burn rate, no runway. For a team with 170 million raised, this opacity is a deal breaker for institutional allocation. Real usage 3.0. Ignition chain runs, but TGE was 9 days ago, and 0 production dApps are live. This engine is idling, not racing. Business model 7.0. Mana fee abstraction plus staking demand is clever architecture, but value accrual is conditional on Alpha Network actually launching. Moat 8.0. 8+ years of ZK R&D, PLONK patent equivalent knowledge, first mover as a decentralized privacy L2, real moat, not just narrative. Governance 7.0. Year 1 insider exclusion is credible. Sequencer-based voting works, but 200,000 minimum stake equals Whalegate. And the supply switch post-2026 needs watching. Community 7.0. 16,700 verified auction participants, 3,400 sequencers, ETH Denver presence, real community, but post-TGE hype must convert to builders. Regulatory 7.0. Swiss Foundation, MiCA white paper, ZK passport opt-in compliance. DFAL, July 2026, is a potential catalyst. Cycle resilience 7.0. Survived 2018 through 2025 without a token. Team shipped through 2 bears, but Alpha Network delayed equals narrative decay risk. Alpha potential 8.0. If private DeFi plus enterprise privacy hits, Aztec is the only production-grade rail. Asymmetric upside with real tech underneath. Total garage score 6.8 out of 10. Tuned and worth watching. This is a stealth reconnaissance vehicle. Matte black, encrypted comms. Built for a world where privacy isn't optional, it's required. The cryptography is world-class. The team invented the standard. They shipped through 2 bears, raised 170 million from the best names in crypto. Decentralized from day one. But the Alpha Network isn't live. There are 0 production dApps. The February 2027 cliff puts 48% of supply into play. There's no fee burn. The treasury is opaque. And the token is 9 days old, trading at near all-time highs on Korea FOMO volume. 6.8. Tuned and worth watching. This isn't the car for your gym bro. Too specialized, too early, too much waiting required. But if private DeFi becomes a real market, if DFAL and MiCA force institutions to need compliant privacy rails, if the Alpha Network ships and developers show up, this is the only vehicle on the road that was built for that mission from day one. The bet isn't whether the encryption works. It does. The bet is whether anyone shows up, needing to hide what's inside the car, while still following every law on the road. Smash the like, hit the follow, and go tell your gym bro, we didn't find Pepe anywhere in this teardown. Not once. Tell him we checked. Twice. The frog isn't here, but he can still get gains. Just different kind. You got a project you want on the lift? Leave it in the comments. We read them all. Check us out, gurucryptogarage.guru. Until next time, let it rip.